This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz. Very excited to be talking to Isaiah and Yassir Lester about The Gutter. How are you both doing today?
Nothing. I
I'm
got
good.
nothing.
I thought Yassir was
I
gonna. I
got
was like Yassir was
nothing.
gonna
I
say
got nothing. Nope.
like,
And
oh
Isaiah
no,
got nothing either.
oh no.
I'm kidding. We're both good. We're both. I think we
Yeah,
both thought we were going to talk until
yeah.
the.
That's what I was like. And then I thought you were just about to give a very dark answer. And I was like, no, don't be honest. Just say you're good. I was like, I only have two questions, so we'll do lots of pauses. We'll stretch it out as much as we
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
Well, I want to start by saying I'm a big fan of Making History, which I know you guys were both involved in.
Whoa.
And I hope that the other 10 viewers of that show are
Oh,
going to check
oh,
out this film
oh.
because I wish it had lasted longer. But I think there's some relationship between these two in some ways. Do you see any sort of through lines besides just your involvement in it?
Well, I'm sorry, Isaiah, go.
No, please, please, Yasser.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, well, the EP was Jared Hess, who was also an EP or an executive producer on Making History. Uh, I feel like this movie is it's a sense of humor that like people haven't been subjected to in a long time. So unlike Making History, where the idiots at Fox said said we don't get it, so we're getting rid of it. I feel like this is a movie where people, the gatekeepers, if you will, all understood what it was, and they're like, "Oh, these are people that are trying to have fun, and we are having fun by nature of watching how goofy and insane this thing is." I think that like we set up a dynamic between the characters that is very God, I don't even remember the characters' names now. Chris and Deb, and what was Pally's name on that show? Steve?
Man, I don't remember. It's been a long
What was
time.
his name? Oh man, I was Chris. He was Dan. Chris Dan.
Dan, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
Leighton and
but
Leighton.
I also say that like quite literally, like in the writing of it, when we had an early screening of this, the creator of Making History, Julius Sharp, is still very much a friend of ours, and I would even go as far as a mentor.
I call him. Yeah, he's a mentor for me for sure.
Yeah. So, his influence is all over because, when he has an opinion about something, you listen, he
Hmm.
knows what he's talking about. So, there's a lot of fingerprints for that team and the 10 people that saw Making History, as you so lovingly pointed out.
And also Brody's in it, and he's married to Leighton,
Oh,
who's in it.
yeah.
You know, so there's a lot. I think there's like a lot of intermingling
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I did. I think I watched this like right as in the middle of Nobody Wants This. And I was like, oh, Adam Brody, look at him. He's gonna have such a big role. And it's
Yeah.
not so critical. I guess it is critical. It launches the whole story, but we don't see
Yeah.
that much more of him.
Right.
So, what were some of your cinematic influences for your first time directing? We both and Veronica, our DP, and Maggie, our production designer, like we spoke a lot about like uh especially being like kind of like people in California story, like a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson movies, like in terms of like look and kind of like the weirdness of everyone. Like everyone is so individually weird, much like in Boogie Nights. That we definitely pulled a lot of visual stuff from that. And then there was stuff kind of like, the other things we shot, like it was kind of like we kind of pulled from all over the place. Music videos, anime, just just a lot of different. I think like truly, I'll say like the influence is like me and Yasser being children of the television and children of the movie theater, and just pulling stuff out. Like, oh, this is remember this from this. I think this would look good in this scene and things like that.
Yeah. Like I in a weird way, like the writing was so influenced by, just trying to make the funniest thing possible that like when me and Isaiah first started conceiving of the look, this is before we'd even met with like DPs, like our like kind of like director's lookbook had more dramas in it than comedies. And we really, really wanted to focus on the fact that like hey, you're still seeing a film without it, like, and I always use this as the example, and it's not shade to them at all, but like you watch Dude, Where's My Car, and you're not like, that cinematography was off the hook. You know what I mean? Like, who was the cinematographer of Dude, Where's My Car that put up 40 lights all at the height of brightness so you can see every single thing without any sort of motivation or intent, by the way, DP, if Dude, Where's My Car, if you're watching this, seeing this, reading this, apologies. But it's how, Isaiah saw Veronica's reel, Veronica Bozar DP, and he's like, this is the person. And from there, again, we really built out a la, like, I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but it's like, again, Boogie Nights, There Will Be Blood. I like, again, anime things like Fist of the North Star. There's a lot of like, even there's so much homages to wrestling in the movie as well, that like we stole shots in terms of how people entered a room, and the way we would transition between scenes. Like there's like, like Darren Aronofsky, like there's so many points of reference that, like, and I think in a good way, because every true artist, I believe, like, uses so many points of reference that you can shape it to become your own thing. Not to say that like
Yeah.
it's like this, it's not the Sistine Chapel, but like we really did try to make sure that like if we pulled something in, that we were cognizant of how it is also our own, and not just like we stole this shot and that's all we're doing,
No, it's the inspiration for the stuff, not the stuff
Yeah,
directly.
exactly.
I like that. Do you hope to, or did you plan to appeal to serious bowlers?
um
I hope all 10 of them.
yeah.
No, but no, we hope so. Like, I mean, this movie is for people who are willing to laugh at themselves, and they're included in that group. Like this is a movie about a thing that we all have, a thing that you take too seriously, that is silly. I collect sports cards. I take it way too seriously. And if there was a, you know what I mean? So like you have, and I know like, but the thing on the outside looking in, I'm almost like, I know this is like the dumbest thing ever, but like, I think if they're willing to do that, then they'll really enjoy it, just like everybody else.
Yeah. And to be clear, I hope we did a good enough job of showing like this is not real bowling. You know what I mean? Like again, we separate enough from it that a very serious bowler can just laugh and be like, this is just stupid. But also we kept enough of real bowling in that you're like, well, I mean, I guess technically that it's not like Walt never like hits a ball with a bow and arrow and makes it a strike. You know what I'm saying? Like they still have to adhere to the rules of what it is. Um, and so to what Isaiah was saying, like the seriousness of like the niche that you love, like if the bowler isn't laughing, if the serious bowler is not laughing at this, then it's a personality defect on them. It has nothing to do with us. We created a masterpiece.
Well, that's an excellent transition to my final question, which is that, this is awards buzz, and while we'd like to see, the gutter in contention for best picture, best director, etc., I'm curious what you guys have seen recently, something that you would deem awards worthy, a film, a show, a performance, something like that.
Wow. You want me to go first, Day?
Yes, please. I have to rack my brain because I
Okay.
watch trash TV.
Do
Um,
you want me to do specifically film or film and television? What's
Whatever you're like, wow, that was great.
okay? I gotta say, from a film perspective, and I just loved every second of it, even though I think like to even call it a metaphor is a little insane because the messaging of the movie is so in your face. But Dream Scenario with Nick Cage, I don't even know if it's up for anything or if that was last year or whatever.
Last year, but yes.
Okay. I mean, I just saw it, so hopefully it can be nominated this year. Um, But
That works, right?
I genuinely like I loved it so much. And I also, again, this is like such a corny answer and it'll never get anything. But uh in terms of handling fan service, I thought Deadpool and Wolverine actually did a very phenomenal job of telling just a fun story in a way that, like, whether you care about Marvel stuff or not, like it was just a fun trip to be on. Yeah, I don't know. I have like it's so hard because people are always like, "Have you seen the Scissors of Time?" And I'm like, "No, I don't. I've never heard of that." And they're like, "Really? It won the Palm Golden Bear at the Lichtenberg Award." And I'm like, "Okay, like I'll never see this movie just because I don't like you and the way you're talking about it." But those are my two, Zaya.
Um, I have I mean, I guess my answers are, I guess, I mean, one of them is just not going to be, I mean, I don't know if it's award worthy or not. I guess it is, but the music video Drake did for Family Matters earlier this year, the
Oh.
three-part series, it was very well shot. It was a beautiful, and like the metaphorical stuff he was doing in it, it was very, very cool. Um, I will also say the most recent, and I know we just had the Emmys, but the most recent season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, it should have won something. It was like the best season in a long time.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I
awesome.
appreciate. I've asked these questions a lot. This last question, a lot of people, and these are very creative and different answers. So I appreciate that. I wish you guys plenty of luck at whatever imaginary festivals and award shows you want to win some prizes. Thank you both so much, guys. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.